Welcome to our podcast, Spiritual Vacancy. We are here to help fill your spiritual void and to help you find your inner light. My name is Brooke Ann. I'm a psychic medium, Reiki practitioner, paranormal investigator, and I co-own the Inner Light in Myrtle Beach with my first co-host, who is Lee. Lee is a Reiki master, intuitive tarot reader, and a paranormal investigator as well. And the third co host is Kimberly. She's a psychic medium, Reiki master, and an intuitive healer. All of us thank you for listening in, and we hope you enjoy today's episode. All right. What are we talking about today? We're talking about professional psychic mediums, ones that work on TV or ones that we admire, ones we might not admire, ones that we might not care for. But we want to talk about ones that are in the public eye or even ones that maybe are famous but might not be as well known too. We could also discuss that.
hmm
Um, Lee, who's like one of your favorites?
I love Chip Coffee,
Oh,
big Chip Coffee girl, and I love Michelle Ballinger. I'm a big paranormal nerd, right? As we know. So a lot of my favorite mediums and psychics come from that kind of world, like the kind of, going into homes and spaces and like reading those spaces, picking up on the spirit energy there. So I think those are two of my favorites. Also, we love Tyler Henry.
mhm.
Love, yeah, love him.
I
So yeah,
forgot
I think, huh?
I forgot about Chip Coffee. I love
Oh,
him.
I love him. He just seems like I want to like kiki with him, he's just so fun, and I like the way he works, and he's really real too. And yeah, so those are my faves.
Too. I don't know the other lady though.
You should. She is really impressive. She's one of her like real specialties is remote viewing. So
Oh,
she does a lot of things from like from her home. And then what the way she works recently, she's on a show called a YouTube series called Travel the Dead, and she will Zoom the normal team that's in the space, but or not Zoom, I'm sorry, FaceTime, but she'll be blocked, like they'll put duct tape over their camera so that she doesn't know where they are. But she's just picking up on the energy through from far away. So it's really interesting. She's also an artist, so she draws a lot of what she sees, and she's a really fascinating human. If you ever like come across a podcast where she's a guest or something, you should give it a listen because she's got a lot. There's a lot there, but yeah,
I will. I will. I'll check her out because I'm like, I don't recognize that name.
yeah. I'll send you some stuff. You would
Okay,
like her.
that would be awesome. Yeah. What about
Yeah.
you, Kimberly? Who's your favorites?
Well, I don't know. My favorite even from years ago from the 80s was Lisa Williams. And Lisa Williams I always admired when she had a TV show. And I remember her on Oprah. I would watch her with my mother, like so she's around from a long time ago. And I always just her story reminded me of my own. So I think I connected with her that way because when she would talk about different things that happened to her growing up, I totally connected with her that way. And then, of course, years later, she became a teacher of mine. So she's an excellent teacher. And, so it just brought it full circle for me because it was someone that I admired and I felt a connection to because we had the same similar story. And then to actually meet her in person and then to have her as one of my teachers, like it was just amazing, because she's an excellent teacher. So she's probably my favorite, I would say.
Is she
That's really cool.
is she English or no? Like British?
Yes, she's originally from the UK. And
Okay.
then when I guess Merv Griffin is the one who kind of found her, and he had her come to California, and that's when they did her show. She had a show, Messages from Beyond, and then she was like that. That's when she started to do the talk circuit, that like Oprah and all the different talk. I guess she was on Merv Griffin, different shows, and that's when she was really popular with all of that when she had her show. And then just through the years, like I don't know, I always thought she's real. Like I felt she was very real. And then after meeting her, she's very real, and she is very, I think because she's English, they really do not sugarcoat anything.
Mm-mm.
And it's very like, this is how it is, whether you like it or not. Going to tell you, exactly what they think but I liked it about her because she's very honest. She's an excellent teacher though. So I was grateful to have able to meet her and actually have her as a teacher.
Yeah, I don't
That's
think
awesome.
I've ever seen her. I'm trying to think of, I was
She,
watching that show.
in the 80s, she had that spiky, funky hair, like it was shorter, and she would have like a blonde patch on top. I don't know if you'd remember the spiky kind of funky hair because she had like a funky look back then.
The
Now,
only,
Hmm.
so I watched the show on Prime and I'm like really trying hard to think. And
okay.
there was a lady on, Lee, you watched it too. It was a psychic,
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
and I think she was the
I think
lady.
that's her.
I think it is her because it's that one.
Yeah.
Is that Tony Stockwell's when he had them doing
No,
the test?
mm-mm.
Oh, okay, because she was on that too. He had her on.
No, this was actually, this was,
America's Next Psychic or
yes,
America's
Oh yeah,
Best
was
Psychic or
there as a judge or something.
yeah, yep.
Yeah,
She did like
yes.
a she like
yeah,
did an
yeah,
experiment or like a challenge with them.
They
Yeah.
yeah.
were like behind the
Oh,
Where
curtain
they were in
or
the curtain.
something.
Yep. Hmm.
yes, that was
Okay, that's her.
yeah.
Okay, because I'm like, I think I've actually seen her, but I can't put it together.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
remember. I don't
yeah.
remember her being in the 80s. Like I'd have to look up that show because I don't
Mhm.
remember ever watching that. And I was obsessed with Sylvia Brown,
No,
sadly.
it was a
I love me some Sylvia Brown. Honey. Yes.
I
Montel Williams, come through.
right?
Hmm.
I think she's fake. So isn't that interesting?
So
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, I think, so the thing is, I think she was real, right? Because her books, like, she's on point if you have, like, her books, like, on some of her predictions, and, like, she predicted COVID, she predicted, like, there's other things in her books that she's actually predicted. Not all of them, of course, but some of them have actually come true. And I'm sure she was really good, but I think she got so famous where when you watch back the episodes on Montel, I'm like, there's no way. Like she's like, oh, check your liver. Oh, do this. Oh, this. And then it's like, it's so disingenuine, like looking back on how she was like reading people, where it's like, how could I not see it was fake? But in the moment, it was like the only thing on. It was like
Yeah.
our live TV, even though it's like pre-recorded,
Hmm.
and that
Hmm.
was our stuff. And I loved her, but I do feel like she got so big where it just became fake. It just when you watch it back, it's hard to watch.
Well, and
Mm.
then that big controversy where she told a woman on Montel that her daughter was dead and she wasn't.
I
Yeah.
know. Yeah,
Died and never, she died thinking her daughter was dead and they found her daughter.
I
So,
know. And that is really bad. But that also goes into where it almost got like not when I was actually watching her in the 90s. I thought she was amazing. But now watching her as an adult, I'm like, oh,
she
that's
was very
that's
blunt.
tough.
Would just kind of, point out and say, oh, this or yeah. But I don't know. I don't know. I guess I just feel some of that stuff should be in private. I don't know. I just feel like to kind of blurt out to somebody, well, this is, I don't know. I just feel like it's a little raw, I guess.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
could,
it's like she got caught up
Yeah.
and
yeah,
felt like she had, and I can't imagine that kind of pressure, right? Because
right.
we've talked about that before, like how mediums are human beings too, and people are, as humans, sometimes there's a margin for error.
Yep.
And like to have that amount of pressure on you on a global scale has got to be hard. And that's tough. So,
I agree. I
yeah.
do, I do feel like she was real. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like it got so mainstream. It just kind of, changed it a bit. I love Teresa Caputo. Like, I know like I listened to her podcast. I love how she's just there's things that I don't love about her, the way she reads, but that's just the way she reads, so it's totally fine. But I love how she's very genuine. I love how she gets emotional. I love, and I love Tyler Henry too, because I feel like he's such a genuine soul.
Mm-hmm.
Those are probably my two favorites. Some of the other ones, I like John Edwards, I do. You know, John Edwards is very to the point as well. You know, he just spits it out and there's like no.
I like John, though.
I
I
do
do.
too. I like him too. But you know, I used to watch his show Cross Country or
Crossing
Crossing
over,
Over. Yeah.
crossing over with John Edwards. Yep.
Yeah. And he's just like rolling it out and to the point. The ones I don't care for, I don't like James Van Prague and I don't like Shar. There's like a celebrity medium and her name's Shar, but
I
she
like her though. I don't know why, but I do. I think she's real, but yeah, I don't
you
like
don't
love.
think she's real or you do? I'm
No,
sorry.
she is real. I do think she.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and of course James Van Prague is just not a nice person. So
No, he doesn't seem nice, but he seems very. So him and Shar remind me like they might have went to the same school together because they will like when you watch them read, Shar and Van Prague will go through the alphabet and be like, it's an N, M, N, O. Okay, it's probably a P. Is there a P name? And I'm thinking, why did you just go through the whole alphabet? You
I
know, and then they'll be like, it's Christopher, and they're like, that's what I said. Like,
you're right about that because I've seen him a couple times and he just kind of is pulling things out of thin air, it seems,
yeah,
like guessing or he was just, and then they'd say they no, they can't take it. Well, it's probably there. You just don't, he gets like mad or something about it.
he
And I've
does.
seen that with him and I just think, I don't know. And he puts others down. So he thinks he's the only, medium that
Right,
there should be. And
right.
I have a problem with him putting people down.
Me
So
too. And I
I
feel
don't know
like
who that is.
James Van Prague,
yeah,
oh my gosh.
mustache.
He's got like a
I'm
white,
gonna Google him.
okay,
Yeah.
he's got like a whiter face. He's been around forever, like probably 80s, 90s. He's got a million books. He
Oh,
He
teaches.
he had a thing at Lilydale in the auditorium, and he sat there and put all the mediums down there,
No.
and he said some terrible things.
Are you
And
serious?
there they were having him as a guest in their town, and he put them
Oh,
down.
wow.
Yeah,
Oh.
ew.
Yeah, so like they did which I don't think anybody should like test mediums or anything like that, but I feel like 90% of the information should be correct, especially if it's like a celebrity, because there's a lot of pressure on us, but a guy had recorded a session with James, but he had no idea who James was talking to or anything about it. Like it was so far off. And then James got really mad and like refunded his money, which is the right thing to do. Um, but you could tell like even when he was reading him like in the video because it's on YouTube and stuff, it's like you said, Kimberly, it almost just feels like he's like fake it till you make it. You know what I mean? Like it's very weird how he's like, oh, and this, and there's
he'll
a
turn
lot of
it around to make it look good. Like, yeah,
yes,
they made him
yeah.
do it.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
it's pretty interesting. But yeah, if you see him and you watch him read, um, Lee, it's definitely different. And then he was on a talk show, which I know there's definitely that on. He gets angry at these two women because they can't take, did you see that, Kimberly, where they can't take the information? He's
Yeah, he gets
like
mad.
screaming at them on live TV. And he goes,
Hmm.
yes, they are. They are for you. And the women are like, no. And
Oh,
he's
he's very
you
angry.
just
Yeah.
don't know. You just don't understand. And I'm like, oh,
Oh
I'm not
no.
professional. Just keep it going, dude. Keep it going. You
Woof.
know?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh
And then
no.
have you guys seen the Seatbelt Psychic or Thomas
I
John?
have
Oh yeah.
watched it.
So don't. Uh, so they did, this is really bad. I don't know if you guys know this. So Thomas John, they were talking about the Seatbelt Psychic, how fake the show is.
Okay.
Because he drives a cab, but they're like, why does everybody sit in the middle seat? Because if anybody's in a cab, then you always sit,
On the end.
nobody sits. So they're like, it's already kind of like pre-planned, and they're like, oh, I'm on camera, and it's like, but why are you sitting there if you don't know you're being
Right.
recorded, right? So I can't say how much of that's fake, but besides that, this group of people made all of these, and this is on YouTube, it's fascinating, made all of these fake Facebook profiles, right? None of the information is real, none of it is them, it's not their real names. and they signed up for a demonstration for Thomas John. So, you could pick anybody. It's a huge gallery,
Right.
right? He literally said everything that was on their Facebook pages. I'm getting this person, they're connected to this name, this, like everything to the T, but it wasn't real.
No.
He just studied all the people that signed up for his gallery event.
He probably has an earpiece and is being
Could.
fed.
Yeah, could be too. Yeah, could be
And
Hmm.
my,
that too.
I think you should get the evidence should be something that isn't on Facebook, you know,
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
memories and things that there's no way it would be on Facebook, you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, he got the names, the death, the dates, and it,
Mhm.
it was all fake.
Yeah. See,
None of it was real. So it wasn't like he was being genuine and pulling that forward. And you're talking about in a group of people. So he's like investigating everybody that signed up for his gallery. That's crazy. That's
Hmm.
insane to do that. That was really disheartening to kind of see that and find out, because that makes us that are genuine,
right
not like, it just sucks, especially when
Hmm.
famous people do that,
now, that's what they said about Teresa Caputo, that you know, she would know like everybody that bought the tickets and all this stuff, right? They said the same thing, but I could tell you it's not true because I had a reading from her, and believe me, I'm like you, Lee. I would not go and seek it out. I do not pay for, she was in our area, and I wouldn't go because I'm around them all the time. Why would I need to go, right?
Hmm.
Here, I was calling about a kennel where we're putting our dog. And the lady said to me, because you called me, I think I have to give you these tickets. And they were for Teresa Caputo. And I said, no, find somebody else. Like, I didn't want them. And she tried to call other people, and she called me back like a half hour later and said, listen, no one can take these tickets. Can you please go? And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I felt bad because, they pay good money. And I ended up going. And it was like so weird. We were late. We were a half hour late. She already started. Um, I found the best parking, which is impossible. Where she was, the parking is impossible. And then when we went into our seats, we watched her how she kind of worked. And then it was really weird because she got in our aisle and she could not leave. And she kept saying, this spirit is adamant that I do not leave this row, which was my row. And I was like, that's adamant was one of my mother's words too. So it was just really bizarre. But she ended up, I didn't want to take it. And I'm asking everybody by me, going, isn't this for you? Is this for you? I was trying them to have this reading, and she just would not leave. And finally, I took it because she said things I could not take. So I have to say, I don't think she did it because I did not buy the tickets. They were gifted to me last minute. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of
Hmm.
that she wasn't what people said, because I ended up with a reading, and she works by feel. So she's not very good with evidence. Like, she doesn't hear names but she's a feeler. So, but the things she felt, there was two things that no one knew. And I could not say, so I was like, oh no, she knew those. And my mother made sure to let her tell me, you know what I mean? These were the two things, and they were very important. So, she is real.
I
Like,
love that. I love to hear that because I do like her. So
yeah.
that's nice to hear.
Prophet, she was cranky. I think this is when she was going through a divorce because she was cranky that night. She was kind of mean to people, like yelling at them and going, listen, people, I don't know who this is for. If you can't take it, like she was kind of yelling at people. And I was afraid of her. I was like, I don't want a reading because I was afraid of her. But then, and she had those long white nails and she's pointing at me in my face, like, is this with you? And she's like pointing. So she was a little rough. Like, I was like, whoa. She wasn't rough at all. But she did get information that I have to say my mother made sure she said those couple things that there's no way no one knew.
Yeah.
Is
Awesome.
So one of my clients is actually from where she lived and went to a group reading before Teresa was famous, before
mhm.
anything, went to a group and then had a one-on-one with her. And she was like, she's real, like, because that was before all of that. And you'll meet her, Lee, if you come to the development circle. Her name's Val. And she told me that she's like, I know Teresa. I went to a group before she was famous, and she's been doing it for, so many years before she even got famous. And she said that the TV show was actually hounding her for years before she would even take it.
Mm.
Believe that. She always wanted to be famous because she would go to John Edwards shows and hand out her business cards.
Oh, that's not nice.
Yeah.
We know all about that, don't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not nice.
The people
Shouldn't
that
do
I
that.
went to class with, they would go, and a couple teachers of mine, they were there when she was doing that. She was handing out her business cards at John Edwards.
Oh, maybe
Yeah.
this was before she wanted to get famous,
Yeah.
because Val was like, she didn't like when you meet her, she'll tell you the exact, like everything about Teresa Caputo, how she didn't want to be famous, like that they hounded her. And Val goes, that's probably what ruined her marriage. And I said, well, I think that probably always does. A lot of stuff happens when you become
Right.
famous like that, not,
Mhm.
not surprising, but, yeah, I believe she's I like the way she reads. I feel like, yeah, the emotions,
Nicer on the show. Like, when they show her,
yeah. Wonder
because
if it was like overwhelming to
I
like
was like
that
afraid.
many people.
She was scary. Like I was afraid. She was rough. You know what I mean? She was not like empathetic. You know what I mean? Like you're
Huh.
dealing with people's loved ones, but she was very rough and like in your face. Like it was different. I didn't expect her to be that way in person.
Was the crowd rowdy or no?
No, they were quiet. Everybody
Oh,
wait to hear. Like a lot of people were there wanting to hear. You know what I mean? Like
right.
but it was just bizarre. She was getting mad. I don't know, she was just very angry. So I was shocked, but you
Yeah.
know.
Was that a long time ago then?
I think it was when she was going through a divorce. So maybe
Oh,
like let's see, 6 years ago, maybe I'm gonna guess.
okay. Yeah, that's not that long. Yeah.
Yeah, no. She was
Mhm.
I mean, it was in her prime, I think. Like it was the divorce thing was happening, I think. So
Yeah. I
found out
wish,
after, I thought that's probably what's going on. Why
yeah.
she's angry.
I wish there was more shows like that with different mediums besides just her and Tyler Henry. I wish there was.
Do you know who Kim Russo is?
I like Kim
I
Russo.
love Kim Russo.
Or yes, I like
Mm,
a
from
lot.
Shiver on Shower, no.
She
She
did.
did.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was a spinoff of Celebrity Ghost Stories.
Yeah, it was like
What
haunted.
was it? My Haunting.
Yeah, My Haunting. And it was she would
oh.
see celebrities that had ghosts in their homes or whatever. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that
Yeah,
out.
or she would take like if they were on Celebrity Ghost Stories, she would take them like back to wherever their place was that their celebrity ghost story was to like revisit the
Yeah.
place and gain closure. And but she also in the midst of that, she would read like she'd be like, your grandmother's coming through, like she would read people and
I like her. Yeah,
yeah, me too. I like her a lot. And I follow her on social media and she's not I mean, she probably still has like a bit of a following from that show, but she's not actively on anything now, but she still
right.
is very, very much in that world and
I like her.
yeah, I do too.
It sounds familiar. I think I've seen stuff with her. She's got like longer curly hair.
It's not curly, no.
Oh,
Oh, it's more like layered and I don't know, dark hair, but layered.
sounds familiar though. I think I've seen her because I was like, that name
Mhm.
sounds really familiar.
I
Yeah.
like her.
Yeah. And she doesn't do anything with like psychic stuff, right? Or she does. Does she have a
She,
psychic show?
she's both. I think she's psychic medium. Because she gets like when she walks through the house, she'll get like she might feel like what happened there, like how the person was killed, or you know what I mean? She'll feel things. So I think
Okay.
that's more psychic too. So I think she has both.
Okay. I'm gonna have to check her out. I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to.
you'd like her.
Yeah,
You
I'm
would
gonna
like
have to
her.
look
You'd like
that
that
up.
show a lot, I think.
Yeah, it's
My
I like-
Haunting.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out too. My Haunting. That's just was My
Hmm.
Haunting. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out too.
I think that's what it's called, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
My celebrity haunting? No, I don't know. Because I know she did it with a lot of celebrities. So
My Celebrity Haunting.
I don't
I
know.
seen one where they interviewed people, but there was no host. Like there was no psychic.
A Haunting of.
The
That's
haunt
what it's called.
Oh, okay. No, I definitely have not seen
The
that.
Haunting of.
The Haunting of. Okay, I'm writing
Yes.
that down.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
With Kim Russo.
Okay. I'll check that out because I love watching new shows like that. I wish there was more people like Tyler Henry that do it live.
I agree. I think that that is very brave of him.
Me too.
And it speaks to his ethics
Mm-hmm.
to do something like that, especially on Netflix, like,
Uh-huh.
and Brooke and I, we talk about it a lot because he's pretty accurate most of the time, but there are times he says things and the people are like, I don't know. And he's like, okay, just put it in your pocket, revisit it later, and
Mhm.
yeah, I think he's interesting, the way he works. And I like that he does the lives because when I would watch his like regular show back in the day and with
Mhm.
like the sweating and the scribbling and everything, I was like, is all that just like theatrics, like just to, you know what I mean? Like just to make it seem like, oh, I'm really, really working hard here. But when he does it live, it is a part of his process, and I think
It gets
that's
you,
interesting.
yeah, because it gets you out of your left brain, you know? You
Mm-hmm.
do the doodling to help you get out of there. And yeah. So
Yeah.
The
it helps.
sweating, I think he's nervous. I think he gets really nervous and he blames it
Yeah.
on spirit. But I'm like, it goes away if you notice. Like when he's under pressure, he starts sweating, and then when he kind of starts connecting, it goes away. And I'm like, I think that's nerves. And I think him pre-linking, which we should never do. Like I'm
I
sure you were taught that too, Kimberly, where you shouldn't pre-link
don't.
to spirit, and
I
he
only
does.
pre-link Kimberly. That's the only way I do mediumship is through pre-linking. So
Well, you're learning.
it's my only way. And I'm really good at it. I'm really good at
Good.
pre-linking. When I'm in front of the person, I can't tell you shit, but pre-linking, honey, I can tell you everything.
Well, so the reason I feel like he does that is because he's so worried about connecting with their loved ones, is why you would pre-link to try to bring spirit in to feel them before you meet with the guests. And I
Right.
think that's like a nervous thing for him because that is a lot of pressure. I mean, like if he were to get up there, which it would probably never happen, but to be just like drawing blanks or hearing crickets. Like that's so rare that that would happen, especially with like four people sitting on the couch. But I think he's just really nervous about connecting properly. So he pre-links or he has to feel the objects with the psychometry because that's not necessary either. And it cracks me up too because he'll hold it and I'm like, he's not going to connect to who that's with. And he doesn't.
And he doesn't.
No,
I
he
know.
doesn't.
9 times out of 10, the objects do nothing for him. He's just
Right.
like, oh,
Right.
is this, can I hold that? Thank you.
I think it is nerves, and that's why he chooses that,
I do too. I think so too. I think he's nervous, but I mean, I think that's a lot what he's doing. I mean, that's rare. There's no cutting, there's no editing, and that's real. That's a real reading.
Right.
Mhm.
To get some things correct, some not, and the majority of it correct, and then they figure it out later.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. You can't change it. So yeah, I think we all kind of like the same people, really.
Hmm.
There's not any, I mean, just the only two like James Van Praagh and what's that other? Oh, Thomas John, the one. Yeah, you guys have to watch that YouTube video. It is interesting how those people put it together, and it's just fast. And they have video of him saying all of the stuff on their Facebook page,
Oh,
and
yeah.
nothing not on the Facebook page, which is crazy. And it's not even real. So it's
Right.
like if he's really connecting, he would be connecting to their loved ones, not some from a fake Facebook page. So
Yeah.
interesting what people will do to get fame. But let us know in the comments who your favorites are, who do you guys watch, and who have you seen in person. And we thank you guys for listening in, and we will see you all next week. And namaste.
Namaste.
Bye.